Who's ready to get a little bit better? If so, you should shout yes wherever you're at, just for fun. I can't wait till I start to get to hear stories about people like, man, I was listening to your video and I was in the middle of the store and I just shouted yes, and everybody looked like I really message me, please. I want to share your story. I'll share it, I promise. Let's get better. Let's do it, because if you're not growing, you're dying. You're dying. Come on now. We all know that. And so if you're following me, if you're watching these videos, you want to get a little bit better. And so let me see if I can help you do that. Now, I want to talk to you about something real that I believe we have all felt this. And I'm going to tell you, I felt it this week. I'm going to share a little bit of that story with you. But here's the question that I started asking myself. Why do I feel like I'm drifting? What? Am I drifting? Why? I don't know if I am. I don't think I'm drifting, but why do I feel like I'm drifting? I'm laughing on the inside because my friend Scotty is laughing because I always ask him, dude, how's that make you feel? And he's like, good. Why do you feel like you're drifting? Have you felt that? Entrepreneur, have you felt like, man, I don't have any direction, or man, I'm not making the progress that I want to? Here's a big one. I thought I'd be further by now. I thought I would have accomplished, this is not where I thought I'd be. So why do I feel like I'm just drifting, aimless, not making the progress I want to? Why do I feel that way? Well, if you're an entrepreneur, like many of you in this audience, you're normal. That's why you feel that way. But I can give you a couple answers to this. And I'm speaking with insight because I felt all these things. And literally this week I was journaling, and I'll share a quote with you here in a minute, but I was like, man, am I drifting? Have I been drifting? Has there been drift that's kept me from my greatness? And at different times and different seasons, I've done all three of these things that you've probably done as well, but let's just shine some light on it, strip it of its power. Number one reason why you might feel like you're drifting is because you're not measuring your progress. You feel like you're drifting. Again, feel, emphasis on the feel. You feel like you're drifting. You may not be drifting, but you feel like it because you have not been measuring your progress. Where you started and where you're at today, you have no form of measurement to literally delineate, okay, I started here and now I'm here. You might be working hard, you might be grinding, you might be hustling, but you ain't got no numbers. You got no metrics. You got no way to measure the actual progress, no way to measure how many calls you've done, how many new clients you've brought on, how the revenue has increased. You don't have ways to measure the stories of transformation with your clients, or ways to there's all kinds of ways to measure, but I'm talking about you need some metrics, you need some data, you need some, I'm not a spreadsheet person, but you might need some spreadsheets, some charts, some graphs, and if you aren't going to do it, you might need somebody on your team who's going to help you measure, because when you measure, you can't manage what you don't measure, right? So you might be feeling like, man, my team's just doing this and doing that, I don't know what anybody's doing. Have you had that moment, entrepreneur, when you're like, man, my payroll is, and you're like, what the heck's everybody doing for that money? And what am I getting for that money? Well, if you don't manage, or if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. So you got to measure the work that your team's doing. You got to measure their progress towards goals. You got to measure the numbers. You've got to measure some stuff, because if you don't measure it, you're definitely going to fall into that feeling of I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know if I made progress. I can't tell you where we started last month, so I can't tell you if we made progress this month. So that drifting feeling is totally going to overtake you. Closely related to not measuring is number two, not celebrating. Oh my goodness. Literally I put the two together. You got to measure progress and celebrate wins. Measure progress and celebrate wins. You must make a habit, a culture around measuring your progress and celebrating your wins. Great book to reference here, The Gap and the Gain by Dan Solomon and Benjamin Hardy. Highly recommend it. When I read that book, listen, I've created a culture everywhere I go, wherever I lead, whoever's in relationship with me, I have created a culture of celebrating the wins. Like, you can't be around me without finding something good to celebrate. By the way, I don't care how crappy your day was. I don't care how bad the quarter was. I don't care I don't care. You always can find a win. But you have to create culture around not just measuring the progress, which is great. Get some data, get some numbers, get some metrics where you can be like concrete, boom, like I did started here and now we're here. But not only are you going to measure progress, you're going to celebrate the wins and you're going to create culture around it. Nearly every single meeting I start, all right, what's your wins for the week? Listen, I pick my kids up from school and I say, what was your win for the day? And by the way, when you got teenagers and pre-teenagers, sometimes, like that is probably my best practice for helping people find wins because sometimes we're like, I don't know. How was your day? Good. Like, seriously, no. Like, what was your win? What was your highlight? Something good happened today. And so listen, you got to create culture. That could be rewarding people. That could be starting a meeting by literally just asking, some of you are just going to do this. I can't tell you how many clients I have that now, like I hear it all the time. Like, yeah, well, that's how we start meetings now. What's your wins? What's your highlight? Like, call it whatever you want. Wins, highlights. What do you got to celebrate? What are your highs? Like, I don't care but start your meetings that way. It may be putting stuff up on a board that we celebrate the progress. My friend April Garcia, check out her podcast, Pivot Me. She talks about creating an attaboy or attagirl folder. And this goes personally to celebrating the wins. But like every time you get that text of somebody telling you, hey, you made a difference in my life, or you get a handwritten note from somebody, like take a picture, put it in a folder on your phone. And anytime you have a down moment, you just go back. Because like when we have those down moments, we start to feel like we're drifting maybe, you can pull out that attaboy, attagirl folder and you'd be like, oh no, look what they said about me. Like, come on, I'm going to celebrate that. I'm going to celebrate impact. And so that's another way. So many different ways, create culture around it, be a business owner, be a person who not just measures progress, but also celebrate wins. Now, let me give you the last one. And this is where I'll share this quote with you. And here's the quote. It's from a guy named Miles Monroe, who no longer with us, but amazing wisdom that he shared for generations. He said this, you were not designed to drift. You were designed for destiny. Make a plan and fulfill it. You were not designed to drift. You were designed for destiny. Make a plan and fulfill it. And this, in fact, is what started my journaling this week. And I was like, man, with all the progress I've had, man, I feel like there's been some drifting as well. And then I said, you ever do this? Write something or say something, and you're like, hold on, wait a second. Is that even true? Great question to ask. Is that true? And I kind of asked myself that question. I was like, no, that's not true. Because if I look at my growth chart, like just from revenue, let alone people and all the other things, like it goes this way. Like, I mean, there's this, right? Because growth is never a solid line. But like, there's this, but like it's going this, but it's steadily going up. And so there's been steady progress in my business and the impact that I've been able to have. But what I realized this week was after I did a EOS, that's the Entrepreneurial Operating System, did an EOS consulting day with the amazing Ryan Henry. Follow him on social, amazing guy. But he's not an implementer. I get their terms mixed up. He's an implementer for the EOS operating system. And we did a day and we got this clear picture of like a 10-year target. And then we created a 3-year picture of, we're going to go after this 10-year target. Here's what the 3-year picture looks like. And then we took that 3-year and we said, okay, what's our 12-month plan? What are we going to do in the next 12 months? And then we broke 12 months down into a 90-day world. And we're going to live in this 90-day world. And as I lived, I started the day after, like that next day, we started in this 90-day world. And that 90-day world is moving us toward that 10-year target. And so as I was journaling, like, man, have I been drifting? Have I been drifting? I realized, nope, I've had steady progress and growth, but there was something missing. The plan. Didn't have that clear 10-year target. I didn't have that plan that I could map our decisions and our structure and our growth and our map the resources to, like, we're going after this and we have a plan from 90 days to 10 years. We've got a plan and a map. And so some of you may feel like, you may start to believe that lie that I feel like I'm drifting, just like I was this week. Guys, we crossed over 1.5 million in revenue as a company. And I'm sitting here in my journal like, man, maybe we've been drifting. And I was like, that's a bunch of BS. No, we haven't been drifting. We've been steadily going up, right? But I was feeling the drift because, and then it just all clicked for me right in that moment. I was like, no, I lacked the plan. Now I got the plan and like, whoa, like, look out world, here we go, ready to change some lives at a whole nother level that we never talked about before. Like I'd dreamed about, but there wasn't a plan. Plan equals power. I want you to have power. I don't want you to feel drift. I want you to feel powerful. I want you to feel certain. I want you to feel energized and on mission. And I'm telling you, you are not going to be able to feel that without a plan and a map, a destiny that you're moving towards. Now, I know some of you are like, 10-year plans are obsolete because the world's changing so fast. To be honest, I felt the same way, but listen, a plan is power. And yours might be a 3-year plan. It might be a 12-month plan, a 5-year plan. I don't care how you do it, but I'm telling you my experience, a 10-year target, crystallized vision and capacity and energy to now map all the things that we're doing towards that. So why are you feeling the drift? Maybe because you're not measuring. What you going to do to measure this week? Maybe because you're not celebrating. What are you going to do to celebrate some wins? Create a culture around measuring progress and celebrating wins. And do you need to do some work on creating a more concrete plan, a map that you're moving towards? Because a plan can bring power to your life and to your business. I hope that this encouraged you. Drop in the comments. Which one of those are you going to need to give attention to the most this week? Celebrate, measure, plan. Which one are you going to do to add some momentum and not drift, but momentum and awareness, because you're already making progress. I'm pretty sure you're making progress if you're hanging out here. So get more aware of it. Step into that. Drop it in the comments which ones you're going to focus on. This is where you should get off this video right now and go out there and give your greatness to the world, because somebody needs what's on the inside of you. So go give it away. I love you all. Did I mention that? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a great day. Talk to you guys soon.